Hey guys, welcome back to Reserved Investments on YouTube. Okay, I just got back from the gym. I put this wonderful fancy smancy shirt on for you guys. I took some water and just flooped my hair over to make sure that I look somewhat presentable. Today, we are going to talk about demand and the types of demand that dictate the antiques and collectibles trade. Now, if you go to a fancy schmancy school and you sit at a little desk and you study economics like I had to, they're going to eventually come to a point where they tell you that there are 7 types of demand in economics. Now, I got a little cheat sheet here because I don't even remember all these types of demand. I'm going to quick read them off, and I'm going to tell you if any of this actually matters when we talk about the antiques and collectibles trade. The first type of demand is something called joint demand. The second type of demand is something called composite demand. The third type of demand that you're going to study in economics, should you choose to study that particular subject matter, is short-run and long-run demand. The fourth type is price demand. The fifth type is income demand. The sixth type is competitive demand. And the seventh type is direct and or derived demand. Now, we here at Reserved Investments, we don't give a crap about any of those types of demand. They really don't govern the overall antiques and collectibles trade. Now, you guys better hope that I get this all in one take. Otherwise, that floor is going to be covered in pieces of paper that I'm going to be freaking throwing there because I don't know how to edit. So let's just hope that this video is perfect and I get everything that I want to say in one take. Well, with that being said, the 2 types of demand that people need to worry about in the overall antiques and collectibles trade are quite simple. You need to worry about organic demand and hype-driven and or speculative demand. So that's all you need to be concerned about. I did 2 videos on Marvel Universe trading cards, and a lot of the comments, even after I did the wonderful follow-up video, which really I don't like to do. I just like to let bygones be bygones. I know there's going to be people, no matter what video I produce, there's going to be someone out there that is hypocritical on the teachings that I present on this channel as it relates to antiques and collectibles, or you're going to get somebody who is very nostalgic driven, who doesn't care about the finance aspect of any of these markets, and automatically they're going to take offense to what I say. I get that. But there's a lot of people out there that think that demand is simply demand, just like supply is simply supply. And there are no different types of demand. That is 100% incorrect as it relates to the antiques and collectibles trade. Now, where am I going in this video? When you look at any type of collecting market, you must look at the type of people that are operating in that market and why they're buying this said collectible or asset class. We can even apply this to Bitcoin. I'm going to tell you guys something, and I do have a video that's coming on Bitcoin. It's going to answer all your questions as to where I stand on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as a potential investment and or asset class. I am going to tell you, though, one of the reasons that cryptocurrency has accelerated in value in the last few years is because there's a lot of speculators that are getting into that market just because other people are involved in that market. So they see dollar signs. They really don't understand what they're buying into. They don't understand the opportunity costs. But they're going after that particular asset class because they see all these other people putting money in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and the price is exponentially rising. Well, the same thing is happening in certain collectible asset classes, whether we're talking certain comic books, certain vintage Magic the Gathering cards, certain vintage Pokemon cards, and other items of that nature. You have to be understanding to the 2 types of demand that preoccupy the overall antiques and collectibles trade. Again, those types of demand are organic demand and or speculative, also known as hype-driven demand. Now, organic demand is fundamentally what you want to see in any market that you are thinking of investing in over the long term. Let me say that again. If you are looking at a market like I analyze rare coins or rare currency or certain other traditional antiques, historical documents, collectible first edition books, when I analyze that market, what I am looking for is true long-term organic demand. I do not want too much speculative or hype-driven demand in those markets. Now, obviously, when we look at the overall antiques and collectibles trade, especially given the fact that there is a lower barrier to entry to get in on the collectible side if you want to speculate or try to invest in pop culture-based collectibles. I've said this before. Little Timmy Poindexter Jr., if he wants to start a Pokemon collection, all he has to do is go to his local Walmart, his local Target, or even his local game store, start buying packs, cracking it open, and or keeping it sealed, and he pretty much can start collecting Pokemon cards. The barrier to entry on the collectible side of the trade is extremely low. Now, if Timmy S. Poindexter Jr., maybe he's 21 years old, maybe he's just entering college or what have you, if he wants to start collecting rare coins, the barrier to entry in that market is a lot higher in most cases than that on the collectible side of the trade. It's especially true if he is going after extremely rare or scarce investment grade coins that are going to cost thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars a piece. So you really have to look at the market almost in a vacuum of itself, and then you can start to see what type of demand is populating that market at present time. For instance, I did a video on an Incredible Hulk 181 in CGC 9.4 condition that just sold at auction for a record price of over $21,000. In my opinion, there's a lot of organic demand for that book, don't get me wrong. But right now, what's driving the price of that book ever so often upwards and beyond is the fact that there's a lot of speculative demand for that particular book. It's no different when I look at what's going on with a lot of these Marvel Universe trading cards in PSA 10 condition that are selling for $3, $4, and in some cases, I'm seeing some that are hitting close to $5,000 a piece right now. That market, in my opinion, is a market I will not touch because it's made up too much of speculative and or hype-driven demand. Now, I know what you're going to ask. Well, Sean, why do you analyze the market in that manner? Why can't it be organic demand? Well, if you look back just a few years ago, nobody really cared about Marvel Universe trading cards. So all of a sudden, where did all these speculators and collectors come from that now in the year 2021, they're all prepared to pay $3,000 or $4,000 for a lot of these cards simply because they're graded in PSA 10 condition? And I know you don't have to leave me comments. I know how hard a PSA 10 is to get, guys. I am well aware. It still doesn't bode well for this market over the long term. Now, over the short term, yes, I've said this before. The antiques and collectibles trade over the short term is extremely predictable. Over the long term, it is not. This is an inverse relationship to that of the financial markets. Over the short term, the financial markets are not predictable at all. If they are, you can make a lot of money as an options trader, my friend. But over the long term, the financial markets, if you're going after an S&P 500 index fund, I can pretty much state with confidence over a 10 to 20 year period, the financial markets are fairly predictable, where I think obviously the asset class or financial classes of assets known as total stock market index funds, 500 index funds, the price is going to exponentially rise over the next 10 to 20 years. In fact, I could probably say that with 90 to 95% certainty because that's the way the trend has been in the past. It's just like when I look at the rare coin market. A lot of you guys wonder why I like investing in rare coins or rare pieces of currency. Well, it's quite simple. Even in the United States, rare coins have been collected, invested in, and coveted literally for almost as long as they've been minted. It's literally going back 100, 150 years on average. Believe it or not, the American Numismatic Association was established in the 1850s. Few people realize this. That is the predominant collecting club or organization that deals with rare coins. They have been in existence since the 1850s, guys. So when I look at something like rare coins versus that of Marvel trading cards, if I'm going to spend $4,000 on an item, I'm not going to go after a Marvel Universe trading card in PSA 10. I have no problem, however, going after a rare coin or a rare piece of currency for that reason. So when you look at these markets, you really have to analyze the two different types of demand. And again, it's organic demand versus that of speculative or hype-driven demand. Now, I want to assure you, all markets out there, regardless of the fact if they're on the collectible side of the trade or even if they're on the antique side of the trade, they all have elements of both. But if you want to invest in these markets for the long term, you want to be somebody that comes in the comment section of some of my videos and you want to state, Sean, I disagree with you. I'm investing in PSA 10 Marvel Universe trading cards for the long term, meaning 10, 20 years. I got news for you, my brother. You're analyzing the type of demand that is causing those particular cards to rise at present time incorrectly. And that is going to cost you, if it doesn't cost you in the short term, it's going to cost you in the long term. So please learn from this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If needs be, I will gladly do a sequel to this video or I'll do a follow-up. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. And please, if you do like my content, consider subscribing.